Welcome to Riding Shotgun with Tupper. It is Tuesday, November the 6th, Election Day. Hey, look at here. Where is it? Right there. I voted. I hope you did too. It is sunny out here on the farm, but it is very windy, cool, and about to get really cold. I think I saw maybe the Saturday morning low was supposed to be like 21 or something. That's crazy, man. So anyhow, we got basketball and football to talk about. Brad Underwood spoke this morning, and as they prepare for their regular season opener Thursday night against Evansville, the Purple Aces. Y'all remember Walter McCarty was a basketball player, 6'10", I don't know how tall he was, 6'10"-ish, at Kentucky. I think when Rick Pitino was there, if I'm not mistaken. He's originally actually from Evansville, and this is his first year as the Evansville head coach. And I looked at their staff just to see who was on it. I don't know, I'm always curious about that. And one of his assistants is Todd Licklider, which is probably a pretty good hire. Remember Todd Licklider, kind of from the Butler coaching tree, was head coach at Iowa for a period of time. This is a guy that's ran a program and been a head coach. I would think would be a terrific resource to lean on if you're Walter McCarty and trying to figure out how to push this thing forward for the Purple Aces. But I don't know much about them. I know they've got a 6'9" Lithuanian kid that's supposed to be pretty good. They've got some size, and that'll be interesting because Illinois does not have a lot of size, and they're going to have to be creative in terms of rebounding the ball. They need their guards to rebound. They need Georgi Bishanishvili to rebound better than he did in the exhibition game against Illinois Wesleyan. But they got some good news today. Brad said Adonis De La Rosa, the 7-foot, 265-pound graduate transfer, has now been cleared for contact. He's listed as day-to-day. I don't expect to see him Thursday night, although I don't know that that's impossible either. But he's been cleared for contact, and that's good, which means that, to me, he's going to get on the court quicker than what maybe we thought when we were giving conservative estimates earlier. Brad loves the three-guard combination of Trent Frazier, Ayo, and Andres Feliz. I don't know that Andres Feliz will start against Evansville. I know we all get hung up on who starts. I don't think Brad's hung up on that nearly as much as we all are, but it's who gets the predominance of minutes there. And right now, Andres Feliz looks like he's earned Brad's trust as a guy who can score and defend, and a mature guy, and so forth and so on. We've had a lot of rain, by the way, and I'm going to have to be careful how far back I can go. I might stop and turn around. The ground is soft. We're gonna try it. And speaking of Georgie, you know, Georgie's deal, Brad has said all along, is he loves contact. And if he was a football player, that would be all positive. But as a basketball player, you got to be a little bit smart about how you involve yourself in contact, because even though Georgie's fun to watch on the bench, that's not really where Brad needs him. He needs him out there on the floor, not in foul trouble. And so I think that's a point of emphasis clearly in practice and talking to Georgie, because Samba Kane it killed him to miss the 8 weeks this summer. He's way behind physically, mentally, in every respect. And they're going to work with him during the season and try to add to what he can bring physically, and add to his understanding of the Brad Underwood systems, offense and defense. So that's all interesting stuff. I mean, it's going to be fun to see them start to play now for real. They were not real impressive against Illinois Wesleyan. Defensively, they were just leaving guys open on the arc, and Wesleyan is a good enough shooting team to take advantage of that, and they did that. So defense and rebounding, two real areas of concern and emphasis, and we get started Thursday night. Football-wise, wow, Illinois played really an inspired game in wiping out Minnesota on Saturday, and maybe I can go back a little further than I thought, and winning big. You know, Hardy Nickerson resigned after the Maryland game. Lovey called the signals in this game. I thought I saw a defense that was more aggressive. They put more heat on the quarterback, that got their hands up at the line of scrimmage and deflected some balls, that covered a little tighter, that maybe disguised some things, looked like they were going to blitz, didn't, and then did. And then offensively, you know, the bright spot all season has been this team can run the football for the most part. The offensive line has done a really good job, led by Nicky Allegretti, and then Reggie Corbin's had just a sensational season. He's rushed for over 200 yards against Minnesota, scored twice more on long distance runs, 72 yards on the second play of the game. The fourth play of the game, 72-yard touchdown run for Dre Brown, and a long touchdown by Ricky Smalling was really good to see. And I thought, except for one completely brain-dead play, A.J. Bush looked good and did a nice job. So all that was really positive. It was great to see those kids run off the field smiling and jumping around and happy. That had to be a miserable week, listening to everybody like me complain about the way they played against Maryland. However, you know, what are you going to do? That Maryland performance was awful. And Minnesota's performance was awful, and the next day they fired their defensive coordinator. So, you know, now, is that sustainable, what Illinois did against the Gophers? Number one, it's not going to be the Gophers anymore. Nebraska, who Illinois plays this Saturday, is an improved and improving football team. They gave Ohio State all they wanted Saturday, and I think Scott Frost, after a very disappointing start, has finally figured some things out, and I think they're a much better team, and that seems to be reflected in the odds makers' opinion of this game. They installed Nebraska as an 18-point favorite over the Illini, and so, you know, we'll see what happens there. Look, we're reminded anything can happen in football, right? I mean, you know, you just got to play well. You got to make some things happen. I think the interesting thing, though, regarding Lovey's situation is if that, in fact, was a better defense with Lovey calling the signals, and I assume Lovey will be back, okay? And then in the off season, do you get a defensive coordinator, which I got a fly in here that I would love to get rid of, and or do you say, you know what, Lovey, this is your expertise. You call the defensive plays. You finally have an adult calling the plays offensively. You can trust, I believe, going into next season that Rod Smith is going to have his guys lined up right. And not that Lovey got that involved in the offense anyhow, but I think Lovey now can look at that situation and say, okay, I can really, you know, pretty much not worry about the offensive side of the ball unless I see something where I have to step in. That's a possibility. And then do you hire a linebackers coach? Do you address that another way? Rob Wright, who was promoted, from a glorified grad assistant's role into that spot because Harding also coached the linebackers. The problem is if you keep Rob Wright, this is nothing against Rob Wright. I don't know the gentleman, but I don't think he brings a lot to the table recruiting-wise at this point. He hasn't had a chance to establish a recruiting area or recruiting relationships, whereas someone with some seasoning and experience might be able to do that. I don't know how difficult it's going to be to fill that position, assuming you want to. So there's some things on the table there, but Lovey calling the defensive signals for next season, to me, I think that's an option that you definitely consider. You know, I just one game in, look, you know, but I liked some things that I saw there. So I guess that's it. Basketball opens Thursday night. Anxious for the doubleheader tonight in Indianapolis with Michigan State, Kansas, followed by Duke and Kentucky. That'll be two great games. It's going to feel like college basketball is here if you sit down in front of the TV tonight and watch those games. Listen, have a great weekend, everybody. I hope you're getting ready for Thanksgiving. I cannot believe, you know, Thanksgiving's early this year, and Thanksgiving is 2 weeks from Thursday. Holy cow, that means 2 weeks from Friday, we go pick out our Christmas tree. Lord, it doesn't seem possible. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.